Happy Fragrant Friday, Fraghead. Hey everybody, this is Ben here at That Cologne Guy, coming at you with a new, Las Vegas got it this week, review. How are you doing? Happy Fragrant Friday to you. And speaking to Las Vegas, congratulations to the Golden Knights on winning the Stanley Cup in hockey. So you have seen the title and the description, so you know I'm checking out none other than Terre d'Hermès Eau Intense Vétiver, or Terre d'Hermès Eau Intense Vétiver. So if you've seen the title and the description, you know I'm checking out this one. And the reason why, though, is because one of the scents of the day from the man himself, Dr. Goo, over at Locked Scents. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. He reviews fragrances, among other things. And so he had said this was his scent of the day. And I am a huge fan of... well, first of all, I'm a huge fan of this house. You should know that, as I'm reviewing this. I'm a hashtag fanboy of Hermès. I love the house. I feel like they put out... I feel like, you know what I love about this house? It's another one that they just won't put out anything outright bad. You know, it might not be your favorite, but you just know you're never going to have buyer's remorse from this house when it comes to fragrances. And then I really appreciate that about this house. You also might recall, if you watch me each week, that the original Terre d'Hermès, I was in the same camp as a lot of people. With the original, it has a very off-putting orange peel note to it. Okay? And I did not like Terre d'Hermès when I first heard, the hype. I think it was in an airport and I sampled it. Did not like it. The orange peel note seemed kind of minimalistic. It didn't work for me, and it was too pronounced. That said, after I sampled it and wore it on my skin, I immediately, fell in love with it. Ended up getting a mammoth bottle for Father's Day of it, which hopefully will last me for many, many, many years to come. So you should know also, not only do I like the house, but I really like the original. But here's the thing, I fully understand why people were turned off by the orange peel note in the original. I get it. I was too, actually. And this is one of the few fragrances that I can count on one hand that I changed my mind on after I wore it on my skin. Like Dior Fahrenheit was another one. This one was like, what? I don't even understand why people would like that one. And then I wore it, and wow, it just really worked well with my skin's chemistry, my body's chemistry, and I just really appreciated it immensely. So for me, I understood the hype, but I also understood the original complaint of the orange peel. So here's the thing about this flanker that's interesting. This one is kind of like, it's like, it has an apologetic feel to this release. And you know what's weird? I'm addicted to this. I love this fragrance. And I'm probably going to find like 3 or 4 things wrong with it. And it just goes to show you, sometimes you're more passionate about things. So I guess what I want to say is, when you're really passionate about something, sometimes you talk about, more of the negatives. And it's just because you had wished it had achieved perfection, if that makes sense. In fact, when you really don't like a fragrance at all, it's actually kind of hard to review. So bottom line is, I absolutely adore this fragrance, but I do feel that there's this kind of, other than of course the obvious, which is, just let's put out a flanker that's a cash cow for this house and makes a lot of money, whatever. Let's look at this though, beside that. And I just feel like there's a slight apologetic feel to this, in the sense that it's almost like Hermès was trying to make a Terre d'Hermès for people who don't like Terre d'Hermès, if that makes sense. Because they stripped out the orange peel note to this, and then it still has a citric element to it. The top notes are bergamot, grapefruit, and lemon. I personally, I get a lot of lemon here. I mean, I really get a lot of lemon in the top. And so it's almost like they took out the orange and put in lemon. It's not that simple, but I just mean, one has to ask at that point, then, should it be a flanker of Terre d'Hermès, or should it be its own release? So, two things I want to talk about overall terms. There is this kind of Terre d'Hermès for people who don't like it, the original, and so let's try to throw this one out to see if they like it without the orange peel. And I guess I understand that, but I feel like it probably should be its own release. And then the second thing, of course, is once you take away the famous orange peel note out of it, is it really still a Terre d'Hermès element? So that's kind of the two main things going on for this fragrance. But I wanted to talk about that real quick before I get into the notes and everything else. And I guess no, I will say what it smells like after the notes. All right, so here we go. So this one is pretty. To me, it's all about the top and the base. Frankly, the mid notes I saw on Fragrantica, and I would not have picked those up. So I just want to be transparent about that. So these are, you definitely get bergamot, grapefruit, and lemon, no doubt, in the blast. You get a citric blast that I do like, and to me, it's lemon top heavy. You can tell me if you disagree. And then the base, I'm going to skip the mid for right now. The base is Vétiver, and amberwood. So this is actually, I think, the second, maybe third fragrance that I've ever reviewed that has amberwood. It's a very nice note, and I like it a lot. And it adds obviously a woodsy element to it. The only complaint here, though, is besides whether or not it should be a flanker, I personally would call this like eau intense limon, or whatever lemon is in French, or even like amberwood, so like bois d'amber. No, I don't know. I'm just making stuff up. I would not have called this eau intense vetiver, because I'm not an expert on vetiver. I like it, of course, a lot, but I can't maybe identify the dry Haitian vetiver versus a different type. The different nuances of vetiver I probably couldn't pick up. And I say that because I don't see this as being intense vetiver. It certainly is not an intense vetiver. To me, this is intense lemon. And then the mid notes, by the way, are Szechuan. We always say Szechuan, but it's with an I. Szechuan pepper, and geranium was the other one. And I could not have picked those up. Well, here's what I get. I get lemon mixed with woodsy notes and a tinge of vetiver. Okay, so let's get to some good news, shall we? When it comes to longevity, projection, and sillage, I got what I would expect from an EDP. This is an eau de parfum, and it functioned as one. So I would say for me, when it comes to longevity, I definitely got a rock solid 8 hours. I can't figure out if I want to say 6 to 8 or 8 to 10, because it was really right around the 8 hour mark. I would say if we're going to include things like watch bands, then we can definitely go 8 to 10 on clothes, things like that. You can really pick this one up. I also like that it's subtle, but yet it lasts a long time. So that's great. I love the longevity on this thing. Projection is also very good. In fact, projection is outstanding because it's another one that, for me, it's like Burberry Touch, which is like it never projects a ton, but then it also doesn't dissipate to the point that it's a skin scent either. I like that about this one. It really has, it lingers, and I appreciate that one, because it's really about to the elbow, really. It never really projects a ton, unless you sprayed a whole bunch, but it never dissipated either. And so this one, it would be a wonderful choice to wear to work if the environment is pro fragrance. And this would also be great for like a romantic night out as well, evening wear. Just outstanding. That's what I like about Hermès. They really shine in this element when it comes to longevity, projection, and sillage. Walking past people, get ready for compliments. I mean, walking past your scent trail will be very good for at least 4 to 5 hours. No one's going to cough, but they're going to be intrigued. It does have a niche quality to it. We've talked before whether or not houses like Dior and Hermès are niche or designer. I feel like Hermès. Yes, I know they make leather. They make tons of other products. Man, it's hard for me to call these guys a designer. I know niche means that you only make fragrance, so that means these guys certainly are not that. They'd be designers, but man, this really does have a niche quality feel to the juice. No doubt about it. And so that is one reason why I really, really liked it. So projection, longevity, sillage, all great. And as I said, you will definitely get noticed. You will definitely get compliments. So let's go on to gender. So when it comes to gender, this is another one way up there. I would put this at the 90, maybe even 95 like last week. I'm going to go ahead and just say 90%, meaning feminine. If we're saying feminine here, masculine, and this is unisex, this is right in the heart of masculinity in terms of marketing. It is associated with a not necessarily a rugged male. It's more of an urban businessman type to it, but it's clearly masculine, and I'm going to say 90%, meaning 90 of the people who wear it wanted it. It's their signature scent, own a bottle, and not randomly gifted to them. It would be 90% men and 10% women. It is clearly masculine, and I liked that about this fragrance. Now, when it comes to age is a tough one because it does have kind of an established, in your field, austere feel to it. So I'm going to go ahead and say, to me, I'm going to even say 35 and up. Why don't we say 35 and up? Could it be younger? Definitely. Anyone, it could wear this, right? But as far as, I think, association, do I think it's grandpa-ish or dad-ish? No, not at all. It's a gentleman's scent, but it does have a feel of someone who is established and successful in their field. It does. It has a regal, feel to it of a man's fragrance. And so I'm going to say 35 and up on age. Now, in terms of, this is a tough one though for season, because this is probably a spring fall. But honestly, when you have the citrus mixing with the woods, it's a great blend for the entire year. You could definitely wear something like this all year around, which is why I love the original one as well. So yes, it's probably a spring fall, maybe not so much for the high heat, but it would be perfect for the winter as well. The citrus elements, though, people might say, if you're saying bergamot and grapefruit and lemon, do you really associate that with winter? No. So I'm going to go with fall and spring, but this is absolutely one that you could wear. See, every day of the year, and that's why I love Hermès. I love fragrances like this one because it's kind of for the workplace, evening, it's weekends, t-shirts, grilling out, wearing a blazer, denim, necktie. It really functions in all events. So I'm just going to skip event because I'm just going to say it's anything. Well, I'll say, if I had to associate it, maybe slightly for the night, slightly for the evening, but you could absolutely wear this to work. Event really is going to be just any time you want to wear it, and that's what I love about it. Okay, so that's the event, but we've talked about pretty much everything now. So let's get down to the actual rating itself. If you follow me each week, I do a 5-spray rating system. And here, this one was actually excruciatingly difficult because this one really flirted with a 4 and a 5 out of 5. And here's why I'll say this. I've mentioned the 3 points earlier. I don't know that this, first of all, should be called Eau Intense Vétiver. I think it should be called Eau Intense Amberwood, or Bois d'Amber or Limon, something. I'm not sure I'm sold on the name. I'm also feeling like this could easily have been a separate release and not a flanker. And then the third point was, as I said, it kind of has an apologetic note to it that I don't care for, because Terre d'Hermès was a total home run for them. I know what they're doing. They're creating a flanker just because it's a cash cow, right? If it's Terre d'Hermès, people are going to run out and buy it. I get that. If it's called something else, a separate release, they might not like it. I'm totally fine with that. I understand their business model. I'm just saying that, the name and then the separate release possibility, mixed with this kind of apologetic thing of, hey, let's hurry up and get the orange peel out because we know a lot of people don't like it. It's a divisive issue. I'm not so sold on that, just because Terre d'Hermès is one of the top, I don't know, what do you want to say, 25, maybe top 50 fragrances on the men's side ever made. I mean, ever. That's a big statement, and it's done well for them. And so, you'd have to ask yourself, shouldn't you just put a stamp behind that one and say, we love this one, and we're going to call this something separate away from it? But that's probably me looking way too much into it. But that's why it's a review, and that's why it's fun. So those are the 3 points I've hammered on already. And then, I will say this. For those of you who don't, it does have a pledge quality to it. So in the US, there's a furniture spray called Pledge, and it smells like lemon. It's an unmistakable smell. And I do admit that when I spray this, I could easily see that I would go through comments and on another reviewer, right? For example, of subscribers, and they would say something like, "This smells like a cleaning product," or "It smells like Pledge specifically." And then the next point is, I also can't say that it has. I also can't say that it has the ultimate eye-opening, jaw-dropping wow factor of an all-time classic. I can't say that. So you know what? For me, it's in my heart, it's a 5 out of 5 because I really was addicted to it. I really wore it. But all those points, you might say to yourself, he just listed 5, so is he going to give a 0 out of 5? No. I feel like I have to dock 1 and give this a 4 out of 5. This is a very, very difficult rating for me, because I really feel like it's up there as a 5. Just in terms of me personally, I seared through it. I couldn't wait to wear it next. Those are always big signs for me that it's a 5 out of 5. That said, I have to recognize the limitations of this fragrance. So I'm going to go 4 out of 5, and these will be, of course, faux sprays, because as you can see, I am dry as a bone. All the more reason why you would say, well, if you like it that much, right? But we're going to go 4 out of 5 sprays for this 2018 release. And I should have mentioned earlier, the parfumé is Christine Nagel. So again, notice the original was Jean-Claude Elena, and this one is Christine Nagel. So it's a different perfumer. And, the DNA is there, but it's a bit quirky, okay? It's a bit quirky. Let me know what you think, if it should be a flanker or it should be its separate release. Let's see if Dr. Goo watches this episode, because I know he has it, and I know he's worn it, and I'd be very interested to see what he says. All right, so we're going to go 4. These will be faux sprays. My scent of the day is L'Odyssée by Issey Miyake. I still have some left. You guys know that when I'm on a day where I'm not wearing the actual fragrance that I'm reviewing for this week, I've been rocking that juice this spring and summer, because it will probably be my very last bottle of that one, only because I've just had so many bottles of them. I really love L'Odyssée by Issey Miyake. It's just that you can only have so many, right? Okay, 4 out of 5. Boom. 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 And boom. I went inner elbow this week. Something I don't think I've ever done, but I did that because they're faux sprays anyway. I had so much fun doing this one. I hope you don't think that I actually disliked this one. This has actually been one of my most enjoyable weeks to review a fragrance like this that is so complex, in the sense that, not as far as the notes, but it's so complex in the sense that on the one hand, I just absolutely love this one and I can't wait to wear it. On the other hand, it really brought up 4 to 5 of the points that I mentioned in this review that I feel like it just missed its mark a little bit. You know what I mean? It's like it's almost perfect. And that's why I thoroughly enjoyed reviewing this one. 4 out of 5 sprays for this 2018 flanker to Terre d'Hermès. Okay, guys, so let me know your scent of the day. Let me know if you've rocked this juice. Let me know if you like Terre d'Hermès. Any of the above, any of other questions you might have. And always remember, my friends, fragrance marks the celebration of today. Take care, everybody. So welcome to the bonus feature, and of course it was nagging at me while I was doing this review because I knew what the word for lemon is in French. Of course I did. It is citron. So it looks like citron, right? C-I-T-R-O-N, citron. And it is not limon. My Spanish was I was inventing things. And so during the whole review, in the back of my mind was, I know what it is in French. So here's what I would call this. I would call this Terre d'Hermès eau intense citron. That's what I would call it. C-I-T-R-O-N, citron. Eau intense citron. That's what I would call it. Terre d'Hermès, Terre de Hermes, eau intense citron. To me, that's what if Dr. Goo or anybody out there is watching this that has worn this, let me know what you think. I can't pull it off as a vetiver dominant fragrance. To me, it's all about the citron. Take care. Have a great week. I feel better now.